Mic check, mic check, mic check. I think, yeah, it's 10:30, so I think we could do that. Thank you. Excuse me. Hello, can you hear me? Sorry, we're gonna get started in a couple minutes, but I did want to just let everybody know that it's Sam Klein's birthday today. And so if you wouldn't mind joining me to say happy birthday to Sam. Okay, ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Happy birthday to you. Maybe we gotta do.
Good morning. Welcome. Thank you, Sean, for warming us up a little bit with a little bit of singing. Happy birthday. And welcome, honored guests, distinguished faculty, family, and friends, and folks on Zoom. The camera's right there for those of you who are going to be walking. And most importantly, welcome to the 118 graduating students in the class of 2026. Biggest graduating class for POE in 27 years. So our graduating class comprises of 30 double majors. Top 3 majors are political science, economics, and law, societies, and justice. Among our class are also 8 out of the 100 Husky 100 students. And many other award holders from internal and external awards. I would run out of time if I tried to list them all. So we chose one. It is with immense pride and joy that I stand before you today as the director of the UW program on the environment, POE. And by the way, my name is Monica Moskal. I am the director. Today we celebrate not only your accomplishments as students, but also the meaningful paths you're ready to forge as an emerging group of leaders in environmental studies. Each of you embarked on a journey driven by a passion to understand and protect the interconnected world. Throughout your studies, you've tackled complex environmental challenges and sought solutions through interdisciplinary lens, embarking on your mission to unite learning and community engagement in the pursuit of equitable and sustainable futures. You've met these obstacles with resilience, creativity, and a determination to seek innovative paths forward for our planet. As you transition from student to professionals, remember that the power to create change lies within you, and that collaboration and community amplify that power. In POE, you build a network of peers and mentors. Carry these connections with you as you leave. Inspire and help and shape more of a sustainable world. As you step into the world, hold fast to the curiosity and the determination you brought here. Raise your voices for those who cannot. Confront injustices. Drive change wherever you go. The world urgently needs your talent, your vision, and your courage. With that, I'm going to invite the Dean, Joel Thornton of the College on the Environment, to give a few words.
Thank you, Monica. Good morning to all of you, and especially our class of 2026 here in the program in the environment. It is my distinct honor to be one of the first to officially congratulate you on your graduation from the University of Washington. Certainly, I hope not the last. And it continues to be an honor for me to be part of the College of the Environment alongside people as inquisitive and thoughtful as yourselves, your teachers, your mentors, and your broader community of support. And I'd like to give a special welcome also to the family and friends that we have here in the audience and on Zoom. Thank you for joining us today to share in this special moment as we recognize the extraordinary achievements of these graduates. Thank you also for the many ways that you have supported and enabled these graduates to further their learning and growth with us. And now to our graduates. It would be easy to look at a ceremony like this and see inevitability. You registered in your classes some years ago, time passes, the quarters turn, and all of a sudden you're here about to cross the stage and receive something approximating a diploma today. But what you have accomplished is not inevitable or even typical. It's extraordinary. And there is a reason why we in universities continue to gather for this ceremony as we have for more than 500 years. You can tell by the dress that we're still wearing, it's about 500 years old. But for those of us like me who graduated not quite 500 years ago, but long enough ago that the sharpness of the experience has softened, and we can sometimes forget just how demanding but ultimately how rewarding the road to a university degree is. And what I see today in front of me here are people who showed up for lectures and labs, to field sites and seminars on days when it was hard or when the dark and cold rain of the Pacific Northwest was upon us. I see people who grappled with questions that don't have easy answers in a field defined by complexity, by both urgent events and glacially slow change, and by an ever-present source of wonder. People who learned the intricacies of the earth and its social systems, and to think beyond traditional academic silos, to build connections across disciplines, and to bridge between communities. Many of you have also led or contributed to new research that pushes the boundaries of our understanding of the world, with each advance enabling a potential way to better the world. And not only have you achieved academic and scholarly success, many of you have somehow also found the time to pursue an incredible array of athletics, hobbies, and creative endeavors that have brought joy and pride to this college and the entire university. So you too should be immensely proud of yourselves for taking the initiative and doing the hard work to get here. And that is why we mark this occasion year after year, because none of it is or never was inevitable. You had to make it happen. And that is the key point, as we heard from Monica, because we are going to need you to keep making things happen. What I find most heartening about all of that is that you came to this college and sought these achievements, almost certainly not just for your own sake, but for the benefit of society, for the planet, and our future. And it goes without saying that there are challenges now and on the horizon for our society, for our planet, and new unknown challenges still to come. But you have already lived and learned through historically challenging times. And the fact that you are here today is proof that you have the skills, the strength, and the resilience to face whatever those future challenges may be. And again, we will all need you to do so. And when you do, I ask that you not simply move fast and break things, as has been the mantra for the past few years, but move diligently to fix things. To do so with a sense of urgency, yes, but also with humility and an appreciation for the complexity of the earth and of our responsibility to steward its resources in abundance justly and with care for all. Above all, when you are facing those future challenges, I want to reiterate what Monica mentioned. I want you to remember that you are part of another ecosystem. The friends and colleagues and connections that you have made here during your time studying and learning will continue to support you and shape your life in unexpected ways, and it is where you will forever have a place. Your responses to the future challenges and changes that occur, using the skills, knowledge, and ways of thinking that you have honed, will in turn help sustain us in this ecosystem as well. And so I will end now by offering again my congratulations and on your graduation from this great university, and also my gratitude in advance for your taking the next steps into the world that needs you. So thank you and congratulations again, class of 2026.
Thank you, Joel, the dean. All right. It's my pleasure to introduce to you the keynote speaker and the keynote address by Babak Talebi, who serves as the Southwest and Olympic Region Director for the Washington State Department of Ecology, where he leads the agency's effort to protect and restore environmental quality across 12 counties and 14 tribal nations. And I just want to acknowledge that UW and the Program of the Environment are standing on tribal land, the land of the Coast Salish people. And we honor those people and the land every day. In his role, he works at the intersection of environmental stewardship, public policy, and creative partnership to enhance Washington's environment for current and future generations. He's known for bringing people together across sectors and communities to develop collaborative solutions to some of the region's most pressing environmental issues. In this effort, Bobak has maintained strong partnerships with the University of Washington, including the William D. Ruckelshaus Center Climate Impacts Group and Washington Sea Grant. With more than 2 decades of experience in land use and environmental planning, natural resource management, conservation, and public service, Bobak has built a career focused on strengthening the resilience of both ecosystem and communities. Prior to becoming regional director, he managed the state's coastal, floodplain, and shoreline management programs. Among his many contributions, Bobak helped shape the state's resilience framework, leading areas focused on helping communities prepare for sea level rise, coastal hazards, and the impacts of changing climate. Through his career, he has been a strong advocate for equitable environmental decision-making and for ensuring that valuable communities have a voice in shaping their futures. Bobak is also a proud University of Washington alum, earning a bachelor's degree in environmental studies and community environment and planning, followed by a master's degree in marine and environmental affairs. So, College of the Environment. As a former Husky student, athlete, and environmental professional, he exemplifies the many ways a UW education can inspire meaningful public service and environmental leadership. When he's not working to strengthen Washington, Bobak volunteers locally to support his community and enjoys spending time outdoors with his family and exploring the landscapes that first inspired his commitment to environmental stewardship. Help me welcome Bobak.
Wow. Even for me, that was, kind of shocking to hear that intro. I feel like I just graduated. I still feel like I act like I'm 20. So there's that. I was actually talking to a couple colleagues this morning, one of which was in my graduating class, and he reminded me of a prank I pulled on him. And I had totally forgot about it, but those are the things that stick with you and create those bonds, I think. So I'm so honored to be here in front of all you today and asked to speak with you and share some of my thoughts. I had the opportunity here to talk to Sean a little bit beforehand, and hopefully these hit the mark on one, just understanding a little bit of the state of which we're in, which you've just studied for four years. So hopefully that's not anything new at this point, though. And then hopefully provide some thoughts for your next steps in your journey. So again, my name is Bobak Talibi, and I had the privilege to serve as the Southwest Olympic Region Director at the Washington State Department of Ecology. And really important to that, if those that don't know, I have to say this, especially right now, it's very important. We were the first environmental protection agency in the country. That also predates the federal EPA. So you are in a very rich state of values that are shared, and I know all of you will continue that really important mission with us. But what does it mean to be a region director? Well, it means a lot of things. So for me, the Southwest Olympic region is everything west of the Cascades, from Pierce County all the way down to the Columbia River and everything west of that. So that includes the entire Olympic Peninsula. So a really, really, really big area. It includes highly urban areas, the third largest city in the state, the city of Tacoma. to rural areas like Lewis County, all the way to the Pacific Coast and coastal communities. These communities span a spectrum of landscapes, demographics, values, and political ideologies. There are so many tough, challenging, and fun issues that I get to work on a daily basis. I also represent the Director Six Killer, and the Governor, and I'm responsible for over 180 staff in the region. So as a public servant, we're often asked to do more with less. Environmental protection continues to feel like a rock that you're pushing uphill. I'm sometimes frustrated. I'm tired. If you can't see the bags under my eyes, they're there. Don't worry. But I always know that the issues and policies that I work on that day, they really matter. Win, lose, or draw, it's important to work for the environment, for the health of our communities, for our families, and for the economy. And that all started here. I graduated, I was in your seats. I had no idea what the next steps would be in my journey. This program has played a vital role in my life. And for me, it wasn't just a degree. It was really where I found my path forward in life, in the program on the environment. And when I started college, I had no idea that I would be actually interested in academics. I actually started out thinking it was a means to becoming a professional athlete. And yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. Like, who's this guy up there? He wants to get in the NFL? Get out of here. It's only 5'8". I love that. Although I can see that, and I'm really impressed right now that I'm looking out and I don't see anybody looking at their phones because the World Cup is starting here in a second. So good on you, family. Nice work. So, when we start college, I think we all try to take classes that, interest us and explore topics that resonate. And as I'm sure now you've all experienced this over the course of your last 4 years, life changes. Your interests change in ways that there's no way of anticipating. And one of the things that I really valued through my journey about the program on the environment is that it's interdisciplinary. It embraces and encourages change. That's a neat part about environmental studies. It's woven into the fabric of so many different disciplines. This program empowered me to be curious. As I was writing the speech, I was reflecting on how this program really set me up for success. And I would say that it wasn't the content. The content was great. My memory for that is long gone, but what I really focus on was really the structure. And similar to how I started each quarter, I let each quarter dictate the next based on my interest. I got to create my curriculum. And this is similar to my interest in my professional career. It's followed this pattern, intentionally and unintentionally. Where there's been a common theme for me, or a thread, is environmental protection and helping communities. There have been a lot of twists and turns. Now, after almost 20 years of being a professional, I can honestly say I have no idea what I want to be when I grow up. That still remains, and that's okay. It's okay. And I'll say that again. You don't have to have everything figured out. That's okay. But just beware, it's a strong warning, your parents will never know how to talk about what you do. It's complex. If you ask my mom, she'll say, my son's out there saving the world. Okay, Mom. You ask my dad, well, he'd say, yeah, my son played soccer at UW. Don't get me wrong, both correct, but maybe just not how I identify myself. But don't worry, I'm not going to unpack that here with all of you. Point being is, it's not what others think or say about what you do. It's not how they characterize what you're working on. What this program really taught me was to be confident in what I love to do and doing what I love. And everybody's got a different path, and that's okay. I'm most fulfilled by pursuing what gets me excited, and that's what keeps me going every day. As we continue to see a rapid changing environment, the consequences are becoming more severe and the issues more urgent. You will need to be passionate about whatever issues you're working on and involved with in order to be resilient to the bumps and bruises along the way. Okay, let's fast forward a little bit in time where I'm looking at becoming the Southwest Region Director. This was over 2 years ago, and deciding if this big step was right for me. To me, reflecting back on that decision-making point in my life, it was very similar to the same considerations that led me to Program on the Environment. It's an interdisciplinary approach that continues to drive my enthusiasm for this work. As a director, I get to stick my thumb in pretty much every pie. Here in Washington State, the Department of Ecology is our primary environmental protection agency. So as a director, I get to work on salmon recovery in the Deschutes, the flood prevention in the Chehalis, coastal erosion in Ocean Shores and Westport, economic development in Tacoma, renewable energy projects across the state, and responding to environmental disasters like the recent one in Longview with Nippon. Every day, I get to sample this smorgasbord of fascinating issues. Every day, there's so many things I get to learn about. Every day brings something new. So many problems to solve. And when we do a good job, and this is, again, what keeps me going, is we get to make differences in people's lives. And you see that. I hope at your time at here at UW, you've been able to try a little bit of everything. I hope you've been able to dip your toe in all kinds of waters like I did. But let me pull back a minute. I'm gonna stop talking about myself and maybe just focus a little bit more on the work. And in this unique time in Washington and in our nation, it's incredibly challenging. The ground is shifting day to day beneath our feet. The baseline assumptions that we've used to shape our environment, our economy, and our society are changing. It's climate change. In the Southwest, we've been watching the snowpack in the Cascades and the Olympics melt out more than a month early this year. We're dealing with a statewide drought and forecasters that predict that it's going to be a super El Nino year. We're helping the Quinault Indian Nation relocate their entire village to protect them from sea level rise, coastal flooding, and a tsunami. It's federal partnerships that are changing. You might have noticed there's been a sharp shift in direction in the other Washington. And that has changed how we do environmental protection here in the state. It's affecting what we do here in the state. It's made state leadership on climate and the environment just incredibly more important, in particular for our communities that we serve. Our state's last operating coal plant was scheduled to be closed in December of 25, which is what I was leading. Federal emergency order is forcing the owners to keep that in operation, even though they don't want to run and they have to spend millions of dollars to do it. That's an issue we get to deal with. It's economic development that's changing. So often, environmental regulations are positioned as a barrier to economic growth, but it definitely doesn't have to be that way. Companies come to Washington because we have clean power, clean water, and a whole lot of smart, hardworking people. Those are resources. A healthy environment is a resource that can drive economic growth, and we need to look at it that way. We're seeing investments in clean energy, in zero emission transportation, in carbon sequestration, all across my region. And this is all interdisciplinary. Every environmental issue is a human health issue and economic issue. We need clean water. We need clean air. We need climate and the environment that helps us keep our community safe and better. So yeah, there's a lot of challenging things out there, but this is a point where I transition to hope. Like you, almost 20 years ago, graduated in a world that was changing faster than we could ever recognize. Similar to you, I was also entering a job market in 2007 during a recession and an economy that was in a bad place. Somebody asked me what I was feeling during that time. I just said panic. I didn't know what I was doing. I think mostly just to get the diploma in my hand so I could have that. But today, there's also some of the most innovative things that are going on in environmental protection. I get to lead right now one of the biggest urban restoration projects in the entire country. Over 2 miles of restored shoreline, over 260 acres of restored estuary. Removal of a dam that contributes to the entire Puget Sound recovery. It's also a restorative justice project for the Squaxin Island tribe. I get to be the decision maker on exercising our authority when we do that. A recent example of that is exercising our air pollution program to increase mitigation requirements for a heavy industrial facility being placed in an overburdened community in South Tacoma. And settling for $9 million that we're now putting back into the community for tree planting, home weatherization, and other incredible community efforts. Pretty neat stuff. So my advice to you, thinking about your next steps, don't be afraid to say yes. I've experienced the most success in my career by willing to do whatever was offered to me, even if that meant I wasn't qualified. I wasn't prepared. I always said yes. You know, maybe that's my own upbringing. I grew up extremely poor. I had to do whatever helped me make ends meet. Until this day, I don't consider any task underneath me. I'm not overqualified for any task. I continue to serve and do what the team needs. Even if the director, or even as a director, I still consider myself in service of my staff, not the other way around. But sometimes that does come with sacrifices in your career, in your own life. You made many sacrifices for that. And you got to figure out those boundaries for yourself at each stage of your life. And second is process is as important as outcome. What you need to accomplish depends on relationships. And you will find that the world gets very, very, very small as soon as you graduate. I just had coffee and a walk with a graduate from my class. I was on the phone with another one this morning. Understand that your success really depends on others. Harness that. Find common ground. Help others be successful. And always be respectful. Your reputation can open doors and quickly close them. Remember, diversity makes us strong. As hard as it can be to think differently and make sure those voices are at the table, it is absolutely critical, especially right now. Success depends on people. People, I've learned, are probably more complex and diverse than any of the environmental problems that you're going to work on. As a leader, which you will become, I've found the greatest success in prioritizing the people part of that equation. Helping others thrive can be more influential than any other environmental problem that you're actually trying to solve. Remember that. Be persistent. Let me be clear. This work is hard. If you haven't picked up on that yet. Environmental protection is a contact sport. These issues are complex, and often it's a thankless job. But I thrived as a problem solver. I continue to thrive as a problem solver. And every challenge to me is an opportunity to be an agent of change. I found my North Star through many different experiences in my life, both personal and professional. I encourage you all to think about what your North Star is and have it always remind you of why you're doing the work you're doing. Every job isn't going to be your dream job. I think graduating, I was laughing with Sean, my first job out of undergraduate was a bartender. And it was great. It was so great. I had so much fun. But I think more importantly, that taught me to be empathetic. It taught me to communicate with a whole bunch of different kind of people. So don't think of that as a step sideways or a step back. Every single thing you do is a step forward. It just depends on how you look at it. Take those experiences and let them build on one another. As Joel mentioned, lean on each other. We are stronger together. Build partnerships and leverage those partnerships to be resourceful. Your cohort, your professionals, your professors, your parents are all very important to helping you navigate the ups and downs of your journey. Lean on them. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I still routinely coordinate with professors and talk to professors from graduation. They're a good soundboard. But let me leave you with this. This reflection really hit home for me and really is why I'm here today. I was thinking about this. I'm probably about 20 years older than all of you. My daughter is 5. And try not to get emotional here. I find myself thinking a lot about this, the world she's going to grow up in, the opportunities she's going to have. What things will be valued in our society when she becomes of age? The environment, protecting one another, working together to solve problems. I hope so. I hope those things matter. So when I roll the tape forward and think about this, in another 20 years, one of you might be standing here. And my daughter may be sitting where you are, wearing the gown, the cap, and hoping the guy at the podium would wrap things up a little bit faster. You are going to be the leaders that shape the world that she lives in as a young adult. You're going to be in my position. You're going to be the ones hiring a planner right out of school and throwing them straight into the deep end. You're going to make decisions that determine whether she has a healthy environment, stable economy, and a society that values her contributions and makes room for her ideas. When I graduated, the cohort was 41. You're 118. That is incredible. I feel sorry for staff and faculty, but oh my goodness. That is a force multiplier. I'm so excited that you all graduating from this program. But I'm going to use this as a call to action. I ask that you join me in creating meaningful change that protects the environment, supports thriving communities, and provides equitable opportunities to everyone to have a voice in shaping our future together. I want to thank you. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's a deep, deep honor, and I'm really grateful for that. There have been a lot of people that have supported me throughout my career and my journey, which is a huge thank you to Program on the Environment and others. Probably picked up from my speech, being here means a lot. This place, these people, and all of you. It's an incredible honor, and I wouldn't want to pass this opportunity up to say, if you ever need anything, please reach out, network, use those connections, use your alumni, find opportunities. What an incredible achievement. Congratulations, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Babak. I just wanted to say thank you for saving the world. I'm quoting your parent, they do, your mom, they do see you. And as a fellow environmental studies undergraduate, long time ago, that's what drew me to environmental studies. And I will wager that majority of this student or the graduates sitting in front of us want to save the world. We are in community together doing this work. This is your community. There's similarities woven through all of this, all of us. Don't forget that, and reach out to all of us. With that, we're going to start. I'll introduce two of our faculty, part of our community, and Capstone Awards. Christy keeps me in check. She's the best associate director. Capstone Award presentations, and I just, if especially for the parents, friends, supporters in the room, the capstones are a year-long project and an internship that the students work on, and very quickly, they're community engaged research projects. They have huge value to our communities. Sean and I this year actually wanted to put some numbers on that. So we, using the average undergraduate salary or hourly rate, we added the hours up, the bottom hours that the students are potentially working. And I know these graduates worked way beyond what we put into our calculations. That research provides, are you ready? $1 million of research per year to the community. That's our value. That's our impact. We're giving that. And that work would not get done otherwise. 60% of that work is for nonprofits. So it would not be funded otherwise. Our graduates have contributed that. That's incredible. All right, Capstone Awards. It is my big pleasure to introduce P. Sean McDonald, our and I joke, it's just P. Sean doing the awards as the lead of the capstone.
Thanks, everybody. So the students know that I usually shoot from the hip, but I've been a little bit emotional this year. So with this group in particular, so I am going to read my notes because I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to get through it all. Anyway, as a parent, I think you all back there can appreciate this. It's my pleasure to recognize a group of graduates whose presentations were selected for special distinction by our faculty and alumni judges at our semi-annual Capstone Symposium. First, though, as Monica started, it's worth reflecting on what we mean by capstone. In the program on the environment, the capstone is far more than a final project. Our students work alongside community organizations, private firms, government agencies, and campus partners, developing the skills that define environmental professionals. Psychologist Anders Ericsson, who spent his career studying expertise, he was literally the expert on expertise, argued that experts are not simply born with extraordinary abilities. Rather, human beings possess incredible capacity to develop skills and knowledge through practice, experience, mentorship, and effort. Ericsson points out that the appearance of this expertise can actually seem quite magical to an outsider. One of the great privileges of my work is witnessing that magic, the transformation. I watch students who once hesitantly explored an unfamiliar topic become people who can analyze complex problems, communicate with confidence, and contribute meaningfully to their communities. Capstone is often the moment they realize they are no longer simply learning about environmental challenges, they are addressing them. So to the friends and family members here today, sometime during your celebrations, ask your graduates about their capstone project. Ask what challenged them, what surprised them, and what they are most proud of. I think you'll get to witness a little of that magic yourselves. Selecting these awards from so many outstanding presentations was not easy. These awards recognize exceptional scholarship and communication, while also celebrating the accomplishments of extraordinary graduating class. So I do want to say to all of the students out here, because I've worked with all of them, that they were all very proud of you. Okay, so now I'm gonna get to the awards. All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I am going to call some folks up. And what I would like you to do, I'm gonna call your names. Please come and stand over here. And for all of you in the audience, just clap continuously until I tell you to stop, okay? All right, but first let me read their names. So let's see, I need Hongqing Grace Cui, Scout McHugh, Kaya Heningberg, Ava Potter, Mirka Trejo Hernandez, Julian Lopez, Cyril Clement, and Catherine Meggans. Please join me over here. Now you can stop. Now you can stop. Yes. Yes. All right. So I'm going to call them up for their awards. Some of them already know their awards, others don't. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. So first up for our Autumn 2025 Capstone Symposium honorable mention poster. This one goes to Hongqing Grace Cui for broadening participation in green stormwater infrastructure, customizing RainWise outreach through community lifestyles, cultures, and interests. The site partner was Sustainable Ballard. We have to do this for the folks on the live stream. You'd stay right there. Can you stay right there? Sorry, we didn't practice this. Yeah. Okay. So sorry, y'all. The best poster presentation for Autumn 2025 was On the Right Track, Addressing the Barriers in Nonprofit Organization Collaborations. Site partner was Seattle Economy. That was Scout McHugh. Both of you. All right, the honorable mention for lightning talk in the Autumn 2025 Capstone Symposium was Kaya Keningberg, Soil, Bugs, and Rock and Roll in Soil Invertebrates as Bioindicators of Cultivated Soil Fertility. The site partner was Skyroot Farm. We're getting the hang of this. All right, and the award for Best Lightning Talk for Autumn 2025. Yes, was Reef Response, Impacts of Marine Heat Waves and Urchin Herbivory on Hawaiian Coral Reef Health and Restoration. The site partner was Seattle Aquarium, and that it goes to Ava Potter. All right, now these folks don't know about these awards, so this is all brand new to all of us. I haven't even seen them. All right, the honorable mention for the Spring 2026 poster goes to Greater Than the Sum of Its Parts, Addressing the Fragmentation of Environmental Education with the site partner Sound Salmon Solutions. That's Mirka Trejo Hernandez. The best poster presentation from spring 2026 was Track to the Future, Ways to Boost Light Rail Ridership. Site partner was Seattle Subway Foundation. That's Julian Lopez. Okay, the spring 2026 honorable mention for lightning talk is Reclaiming the Script, Imagining Climate Resilient Futures Through Iterative Game Design. Site partner was Climate Impacts Group. This goes to Sarah Clement. And last but not least, the best lightning talk from the spring 2026 Capstone Symposium. Let There Be Light, the hidden hazards threatening the Duwamish's buried grid. The site partner was Seattle City Light, and this is Catherine Miggins.
Sorry. So I'm like freaking out. Thank you so much.
Let's give them all a big round of applause. All right, take your seats. Then. Thank you, everybody.
Kaya, you can stay near. Gotcha. Just so you know, the capstone presentations are our second favorite day of the year. Today being the first. So at least speaking on behalf of the POE faculty and probably the students as well, although they might be a little bit more stressed than we are. But great job, everyone. I love what you do. I love those presentations. Congratulations to all the award receivers. So graduating student address. It is now my honor to introduce this year's student speaker, Kaya Kinenberg. Kaya is graduating with a degree in environmental studies and a minor in American Indian studies. During their time at University of Washington, they distinguished themselves as a leader, educator, researcher, and a community builder. Many of you know Kaya through UW Farm. Give it up for UW. Where they have served as an intern, teaching assistant, volunteer, and advocate for sustainable agriculture. I first met Kaya just signing off on a paycheck and finally got to see the capstone, and amazing. As president of the Dirty Dozen Farm Club from 2023 to 2025, they helped strengthen one of the most vibrant student communities on campus while also helping establish the UW Farm vermicompost food waste collection program in partnership with UW Housing and Food Services. And by the way, UW president is a member of that club. Kaya's commitment to service and environmental leadership has earned them numerous honors, including a Campus Sustainability Fund grant, an American Corp Education Award, a Mary Gates Research Scholarship, and recognition on the Dean's List through their time at UW. This year, they were also selected as one of the university's Husky 100. An honor recognizing students. You'll see the medals when they come up on stage, right on the X here. Recognizing students who have made the most of their Husky experience and used their education to manage a meaningful difference in their community. In their Husky 100 profile, Kaya reflected on how their time at UW has been shaped by food, community, land stewardship, and a passion for creating more just and sustainable agricultural systems. What impresses us most about Kaya, however, is their ability to bring people together. They approach leadership with humility, authenticity, and a genuine commitment to helping others learn and grow. Whether working in the field, mentoring fellow students, speaking on public panels, conducting research, or building programs that will benefit future Huskies, they consistently lead through service and community. Those qualities help explain why their fellow graduates selected them to represent them today. It is a privilege to introduce the student who embodies so many of the values and hopes which our graduates carry into the world. Please join me in welcoming Program on the Environment Class of 2026 student speaker, Kaya.
Okay, that was really sweet. Just to humbly let you know, I am standing on a stool. And as my friend Anya told me to mention, I don't have a stool today, but at least I have a stool. Thank you for all those kind words. That made me misty. I appreciate it. But I just want to ask a quick question. Is anybody graduating here today? Oh my God, no way. Me too. We have so much in common. But to get started, I wanted to start by thanking the faculty and my fellow students of POE for selecting me to speak today. I am beyond honored. Thank you also to the friends and family who are celebrating here with us today, and those of which who aren't. Thank you to those who have supported myself and my peers throughout our collegiate journeys. Thank you to the incredible faculty and staff that form the foundations of POE, and thank you to all of you. You should be so proud of yourselves and also probably pooping your pants about entering the current job market and our generally like crumbling society in general. But I hope beyond those fears, you're still proud. We are at a pretty dire crux. You know what? Hold up. I don't like this stool. It makes me feel small. Anyways, we are at a pretty dire crux in our species and planet's histories. And it's hard to always remember that humans can be and still are good. I think this program and the people that make up its community are an incredible example of this still very much alive goodness. There is no one watching, no one telling you to pursue an education in a field that, let's be honest, is not the moneymaker, yet here you are. You want to work for something better, for this planet, its people, and our non-human neighbors. That's good. I hope you know that you are doing good. Throughout my time at UW, and more specifically while in this program, I had been proven wrong time and time again that we are a hopeless species. I used to hold so much anger towards humanity for what we've done to one another and the land that we so greatly depend upon. But over these last 4 years, that anger has softened into a mushy tenderness for how messy and wonderfully complicated we all are. I realized I love people, and I have a feeling most of you here do too. This program, although yes, it does very much center around the environment, also centers around human community and connection. Classes such as the urban farm and environmental pedagogy, along with so many others, remind us of the harmony that can thrive between humans and all that is not human, that is. As some of you know, I have spent my time at UW deeply interwoven with the UW farm. I have worked there as an intern, TA, club president, and volunteer, and I will be forever grateful for the community I have found within those spaces. When I think back on the best parts of my undergraduate experience, I will always find myself sitting in the warm memories of those who I've had the privilege to know and grow alongside, whether it be from the Dirty Dozen or one of the required 300 classes for this degree. I am sure that most, if not all of you, would say something similar. We have had a very special and unique experience as students of this environmental studies program. It's small and tightly interconnected, but also has grown to huge numbers in recent years, with new faces seemingly appearing every quarter. I will be pursuing my postgraduate degrees in a subject that is more strictly STEM-based, entomology or bugs. But although this degree is a bachelor's of arts and not of science, I will never regret choosing POE over environmental science or what have you. If I hadn't chosen environmental studies, if you all hadn't chosen environmental studies, I know for a fact we would have a perspective on the current climate crisis that removes people and social justice from the broader picture. I truly believe if that you hadn't chosen to be here, nuance could be lost in discussions of environmental justice and who receives access in such critical times that we are currently facing and will continue to do so years down the line. Yes, we are an environmental-based major, but more importantly, we are a people-based major too. And how incredibly important that is right now. While writing this speech, I have struggled with how I want to discuss the general state of the world at this point in time. Do I sit in it and make it linger? Do I acknowledge it half-heartedly and move on? What do I say that celebrates us here today, but also sincerely recognizes those who are very much not celebrating right now? I don't have the perfect answer. I am sure there will be countless other words I should have said, and in some way I will do wrong, but this is what I have to offer. There are millions of people that are in active extreme crisis right now in Gaza, Sudan, the DRC, and devastating, just to name a few. We are seeing violence against trans bodies, even here with the tragic loss of our own Juniper Blessing less than a month ago. Some of those who are currently in power have frightening agendas and unchecked biases. With everything so visible and so public on our online landscape, common ground seems to be ever shrinking. We appear to be a generation marked by tragedy after tragedy after tragedy, and it's so incredibly exhausting. I know I am so tired. I want to be aware and I want to be enraged and action-filled, but I also want peace and comfort and personal security in my immediate community. There is no perfect way to be an activist or a student or even a person right now, but it feels like you need to be. I don't have anywhere close to the answers to all these problems, but I'd like to share something that I've learned in recent years that has saved me a lot of unearned guilt. You alone cannot hold the weight of our troubled world. You will not fix the problems of our people and this planet on your own. And it's brutally unfair to try and expect yourself, your one lonely self, to do it all. But together, that's where true power and change lies. In my opinion, one of the greatest tragedies that we are currently facing is how we've been made to turn our backs on one another. There are a handful of very powerful individuals that are making very big decisions for the majority of us, decisions that we have little to no say in. There are people with too much money and too much influence who are hedging their bets on the greedy few, and as some of them have even said out loud, that they don't want humanity to succeed. I want to sit with that. They don't want humanity to succeed. Not them, not their companies, not their investments, but humanity. We are being fed an individualistic, isolated future that doesn't want humanity to succeed. But how scary it must be to think that at a drop of a hat, that the many small, unimportant masses might realize that they are indeed masses. We hold so much power in our unity, and it's true, we hold little to none on our own. So that's why spaces like this program, the people in this room right now, are so vitally important. The program on the environment is a program steeped in community. We have academics of all levels of prowess doing great work here as scientists, advocates, teachers, and learners, work that is fighting for the future of Washington fisheries, sustain local agriculture, and the very ways in which we learn as students. I am blown away day by day, not only by our faculty and our insanely overqualified staff members, but by my peers as well. This year alone, as you already heard, 8 POE students were selected to be a part of the Husky 100, which is, shockingly, 8% of the total students selected for this honor. I see countless accolades of not only academic achievement from my peers, but those of personal and leadership-based success. You are going into this world as frightening and as big as it may be, so beyond prepared for wherever your roads may take you. You have learned under some of the greatest minds we will probably ever meet and have laid strong foundations not only here in Seattle, but with one another and in this community. I do not know where you will be tomorrow or truly where any of us will be with the state of things, but I do know that your roots are deep. They interlace you with the good people you have met throughout your undergraduate journey, the good people of POE. And for all of us here today, those roots are where we draw our most power from. Our connections can be so strong and are ever growing, but it is up to us to cultivate them further, to use them to grow higher than the rickety, swaying towers of the mighty few. We are the future of humanity, and I just know we will succeed. Congratulations to my 2026 cohort.
Thank you, Kaya. I know you will all succeed as well. And I see you. And I see you. And I hope that you stay connected to this community. Stay connected to us. If you need something, Kaya, feel free to bug us anytime. And you can bug us too. Reference letters, advice, if we have any, or just an ear, someone to listen to. We're here. Okay, with that, we're gonna move to Environmental Studies Bachelor of Arts Processional. And I'm gonna call on the two faculty, Professor Tim Billow and Professor Christy Strauss. And it's very appropriate that I have Tim and Christy here. Come on up. Come on up. I just wanna, in our community, acknowledge publicly and thank Christy for the many of years of service as the interim director, associate director, and probably many, many more hats that she's worn throughout her time in that role. Thank you, Christy. I've learned so much from Christy. Unbelievable. And I like to make an announcement too. Our incoming associate director, Tim Billow, Professor. Tim, you have big shoes to fill.
Right. All right, here we go. Are you guys ready to celebrate? Yeah. Okay, so here's how it's going to work. We're going to have Joy Crevier, our beloved advisor, who will be sending you all one row at a time over to this side where you'll line up and one by one come up to the stage. And Christy and I will be reading the piece of paper that you're bringing with you, right? You didn't forget that. And yeah, we will be celebrating you each individually up here on the stage. So I'm excited. Yeah, so Joy. Yeah. All right. And okay. As our grads line up here, one other little bit of housekeeping for the grads. Hope you're listening. When you come up, we're going to have you stand on the little X, which is on the stage, so that the people who are watching on Zoom can see you. Actually, it's a YouTube feed, right, Sean? Yeah. So don't forget to smile for the camera. And if you're in the audience, we want to hear lots of applause. So we are going to applaud every single graduate. Just make sure that we temper our applause such that we can get to the next individual grad as well. So loud applause, but then make sure you're ready to listen for the next graduate. And we're going to get through this very large class and celebrate everyone. So here we go.
Announcing Kaylin Datweiler, designing accessible environmental education, making children's books engaging for a range of learners. Congratulations.
Addison Lee Butler, expanding environmental education through community science activities, lessons from UW Botanical Gardens.
Mara Munk-Jargal, storytelling as empowerment, bridging scientific knowledge and youth action through the Sustainability Ambassadors Youth Leadership Development Program in King County.
Elizabeth Coughlin, the future of Seattle streetcar, the culture connector.
Sophia Bender, advancing local climate action through interjurisdictional collaboration.
Sarah Desai, trees as neighborhood climate resilience, a geospatial analysis of redlining in Tacoma.
Farah Tung, learning in a warming climate, heat mitigation strategies for healthy K-12 schools in King County.
Lena Doty, bridging the gap, evaluating soil remediation and equitable communication in urban community gardens.
Allison Chelsea, bridging the gap between ideals and daily habits, making sustainable coffee consumption more accessible.
Claire Farber, accessible and attractive science, a case study in the Chehalis.
Olivia Brune, challenges and support strategies for educators implementing place-based scientific inquiry in the classroom.
Ava Wygant, sustainability integration in healthcare, identifying organizational factors for institutional change.
Miles Scherer, public mistrust in U.S. federal government institutions, understanding its causes and potential remedies.
Kira Kolhoff, from silos to systems, developing a compound flood resilience guide for Washington State to bridge the gap between science and preparedness.
Malene Schoenberg, how recreational boating impacts eelgrass habitat in San Juan Archipelago.
Scarlet Hopper, the potential impact of recreational boating on eelgrass, a stressor metric to inform protection policy in the San Juan Archipelago.
Cyril Clement, reclaiming the script, imagining climate resilient futures through iterative game design.
Laura Biasio, agricultural land and ecosystem-based disaster risk reduction for flooding in Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil.
Samantha Klein, growing local, using digital storytelling and data-driven marketing to strengthen community food systems.
Kais Stephen Davis Jarahi. Regional survey of Western swordfern Philisticum monitum mortality in the Puget Lowlands.
Ben Schilp, proving an invisible die-off, finding the extent of the Pacific Northwest sword fern die-off.
Udith Sridith, I apologize. Sridith, yeah, sorry, I got tongue-tied. I'm gonna do that one more time. Udith Sridith. AI and coral resilience, quantifying marine heat wave impacts on coral cover in West Hawaii.
Joel Hyde, understanding invasive species, finding ways to add nuance to the label and move away from colonial frameworks.
Oliver Gerard, trees on the move, mapping the current scope of assisted population migration in Washington state.
Evan Gray, touching grass gently, the impacts of trails on a restored wet meadow and implications for restoration and conservation.
Charles Odysseus Foster, Cascadia out of sync, communication breakdowns and coastal climate resilience.
Declan Smith, stellar sea lion conservation and machine learning.
Phoebe Clifton, experimental assisted migration, a case study with big leaf maple.
Noah Tinson, adaptation of ecological restoration practices to climate change, perspectives of practitioners in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Tosh Drury, protein with a purpose, evaluating how local nutrition assistance programs can meet community needs.
Alyssa Adair, from aspiration to impact, understanding barriers to organizational sustainability.
Ariana Milo, cultivating belonging, accessibility, and inclusion at the UW Farm.
Ava Vaughn, strengthening resilience in Washington's coastal communities, integrating social vulnerability into regional hazard mitigation planning.
Natalia Breeden, evaluating AI-assisted literature screening and data extraction for salmon stressor response functions using Google Gemini.
Tashi Jackson, Bridging Green Career Pathways, Place-Based Learning, Belonging, and Workforce Equity for Immigrant and Refugee Youth in South King County.
Julie Schaefer, Mapping Sustainability Infrastructure and Perception of Water Refill Stations at UW.
Jiwon Moon, Environmental Pedagogy, Using Ecological Research and Place-Based Scientific Inquiry to Enhance Knowledge of the Local Environment.
Kelsey Higashi, Composting Perceptions as Barriers to Participation in Tribal Communities, Linking Beliefs to Solutions.
Delilah Green, Screens versus Skeletons. Could digitizing public educational spaces lower community conservation?
Danielle Israelov, Breaking the Cycle, Understanding Barriers to Unemployment for Homeless Youth at Teen Feed.
Samarth Sareen, Bridging Policy and Practice, Evaluating Washington State's greenhouse gas reduction strategies in comparison to other U.S. frameworks.
Jackson Robert Enquist, Reducing Waste at the Source, a Community-Based Framework for Sustainable Waste Management.
Peter Kelleher, Reclaiming the Lake Union Shoreline, Integrating Environmental Restoration and Equitable Access in Urban Design.
Ange Rosengreen, Adapting to Warmer Waters, Preliminary Insights into How Marine Heat Waves Influence the Maternal Care Strategies of Endangered Western Stellar Sea Lions.
Serena Mladenov, Learning from the Land, Place-Based Scientific Inquiry in STEM Education.
Riley Susanna Spar, Bodies of Water, Human Perceptions and Connections to Environmental and Coastal Consequences.
Claire Frances Larson, Snap Out of It, Community Resilience in Reducing Seattle Food Insecurity.
Chelsea Delicia Valderrama Whiting, Footprint and Future, Rethinking Sustainability and Reciprocity Through the Lens of Global Education.
Angela Perry, Beyond the Bay, Using Historical Imagery Analysis in South Portage Bay to further generate public interest and participation.
Adele Lundberg, What Sphagnum and Feather Mosses Reveal About Bog Ecosystem Health.
Mia Pardini, Forever Chemicals and Climate Change, Implications for Environment, Health, and Policy in Washington.
Sophia Berkowitz, An Investigation into the Effectiveness of Washington's Streamflow Restoration Act, a case study of 3 water resource inventory areas.
Jenna Fennell, The Importance of Accessibility and Intentionality, an investigation into features of effective solid waste collection contracts and barriers to contract management.
Lars Nies Bergstrom. Green space for whom? Equity of access and the threat of green gentrification in Seattle's Cheesty green space.
Kaya Koenigberg. Soil bugs and rock and roll. In-soil invertebrates as bioindicators of cultivated soil fertility.
Down on the edges. Yeah. Andya Mandana Kaufman. Cultivating curiosity and connection. Integrating naturalist intelligence-based learning in UW Botanic Gardens. Environmental education programs.
Marin MacDonald. AIS insights into recreational boating patterns and eelgrass conservation in the San Juan Islands.
Sonali Agarwal. Aging and climate together, building partnerships for community resilience.
Lauren O'Leary Stevens. Beyond diversity commitments, rethinking what it takes to build an inclusive environmental workforce.
Scout McHugh. Relationship maintenance in the circular economy, overcoming barriers to collaboration and nonprofit partnerships.
Hanan Fakhri. How to clean up our ecosystem through reuse and proper volunteer management.
Shantea Parker. Reviving Kitsap, strategies for diversifying and sustaining volunteer engagement in county litter cleanups.
Ava Potter. Reef response, impacts of marine heat waves and urchin herbivory on Hawaiian coral reef health and restoration.
Hon Sing Grace Sway, broadening participation in green stormwater infrastructure, customizing Rainwise outreach through community lifestyles, cultures, and interests.
Maricela Sampaga Smith. Every little thing she does is molting. Using participatory science to improve data quality, indigenous crab molt research.
Lauren Dull, building capacity for a circular economy, overcoming barriers to engaging businesses in commercial reuse through effective communication.
D. Batis, integrating nature-based practices to improve athlete well-being and performance, reimagining sports culture beyond the scoreboard.
Maisie Walker, sustainable golf course management and community integration at Camas Prairie Park.
Julian Manuel Lopez, track to the future, reimagining light rail policy and governance.
Matilda Meyerhoff, stories, systems, and stakeholders understanding pillars of collaborative environmental governance.
Killian Mullen, breaking the ice, informing Arctic environmental policy with oral histories.
Madison Taylor Parker, restoring balance, invasive removal, and native recovery in urban wetlands,
Caitlin Hart Mason, Designing for Stewardship, How Place-Based Scientific Inquiry Can Foster Lasting Environmental Engagement in K-12 Education.
Remy Vernon, Environmental Documentaries and Public Engagement Insights from the Teanaway Community Forest.
Mirka Emilia Trejo Hernandez, Fragmented Ecological Literacy, Bridging the Gaps in Early Environmental Education.
Paula Juarez, Accessibility and Barriers to Environmental Stewardship, Understanding Community Engagement Attitudes and Behaviors in Environmental Volunteering Through Sound Salmon Solutions.
Anna Underberg, Promoting Human-Wildlife Coexistence Through Environmental Education, Evaluating Outreach Effectiveness at PAWS.
Chang Yan, Finding Alternatives to Traditional Mulch, Evaluating Fruit Peels and Leaves-Based Materials for Soil Nutrient Supplementation.
Maya Keenan, Growing Green Spaces, Understanding the Insights of Community Leaders Working Towards Expanding Nature Access.
Up to the Sophie Stetkevich, Farmer Influencers, Social Media, and the Promotion of Local Eating.
Yin Yi Wu, Measuring Restoration Efficiency in Lincoln Park, Evaluating How Volunteer Labor Shape Urban Forest Restoration Outcomes.
Malia Page, Environmental Impact and Feasibility of Reusable Isolation Gown Adoption at Harborview Medical Center.
Stephanie Lopez Jaime, Cultivating Justice, Oral Histories and Consumer Perceptions in the Struggle for Farm Worker Rights and Environmental Accountability.
Callista Walla, Control plus Recycle, Making Digital Sustainability Resources Accessible.
Theo Wright, Let's Get This Bala, Supporting Indigenous Student Well-Being Through Food Sovereignty.
Carson Brown, Voices to Votes, How Outreach Shapes Advocacy and Environmental Policy.
Celeste Stowe, Rethinking Urban Mobility, Exploring Aerial Gondolas for the University of Washington.
Emily Anderson Neal, Science in Doubt, Rethinking NOAA's Communication in an Era of International Change.
Catherine Cole Miggins, Let There Be Light, Hidden Hazards Threatening the Duwamish's Buried Grid.
Cassia Vinci, Atoms and Inequities, Exploring the Demographic Divide in Nuclear Understanding.
Bianca Pistafari, Planning for Shade, a policy analysis of gaps in King County's urban tree canopy framework and the case for placement-informed planning.
Rashmi Gaitonde, Bridging the Green Gap using data visualization to advance sustainability in the secondhand fashion industry.
Emily Mittenthal, Cities That Sustain, Reimagining Resilience in Seattle Through Food Forests.
Bridget Worstel, Adverse Selection and Equity in the Voluntary Carbon Market, Balancing Integrity and Inclusion in Global Climate Finance.
Savannah Jane Crelensia, Measuring What Matters, Mission-Aligned Return on Investment and Partnerships for Small Nonprofits.
Mirabella Miranda, Every Drop Counts, Quantifying the Carbon Footprint of Drinking Water Supply and Consumption in Seattle. All right, so that was our last grad. Unbelievable. Incredible. And let's have a huge round of applause for everyone here.
Congratulations, class of 2026 of the program on the environment. Well done. I would be remiss if I did not take this moment to express gratitude. Thank you to our POE faculty, many of them on the stage here: Eli, Lubna, Christy, Tim, Sean, Yinchu, who's not with us but has worked with capstone projects from this cohort. Ben, B, Will, Christy, help me out. Did I get it? Sarah, yes, Sarah, thank you. So current folks that have worked with the class. And many more UW faculty and community partners who engaged on those amazing capstone projects. Our students are the little but mighty research arm of the POE, so thank you. Their dedication has been the cornerstone of your education, providing guidance and inspiration to the families and friends gathered here. Your unwavering support has been vital to the success of these graduates. And to you graduates, thank you for your passion, for your dedication, your steady belief in the possibility of a better future. It is contagious. And I'm going to quote some of our speakers here. We will succeed, Kaya. And we're going to make a better world. Thank you. But wait, there's one last thing, a word from Pishon. Pishon, if you can come up here and make an announcement.
All right. Okay, y'all, I'll try to keep it together this time. All right. Before we conclude today's celebration, I just want to take a moment to recognize one of the Program on the Environment's newest sustainability initiatives. It's the Cap and Gown Reuse Program. This year, thanks to the generosity of last year's graduating class, we were able to collect and redistribute 30 sets of graduation regalia to students through our lending program. By giving these gowns a second life, we help students avoid more than $1,800 of regalia costs while also reducing the environmental footprint associated with producing, shipping, and purchasing these gowns. In total, We estimate that this year's program prevented approximately 750 kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions from entering the atmosphere. That might not seem like much, but to put that in perspective, that's about the same carbon footprint as keeping every smartphone in this room charged for over a year. Yeah, and that, that's with today's activities as well. So small actions, when taken together, can have a surprisingly large impact. So graduation gowns are often used only once. Our reuse program embraces the principles of a circular economy by keeping materials in use longer, reducing waste, and sharing resources within our community. If you borrowed regalia through this program this year, thank you for participating. We ask that you remember your commitment to return the items after commencement and take part in our Pay It Forward ×2 initiative by helping us collect additional gowns from graduating friends and classmates. Our goal is to grow the program each year so that future POE students can benefit as well. And for those of you who purchased regalia this year, we encourage you to consider donating to the program after commencement. Every donated gown helps expand our lending pool, reduces waste, and makes graduation more affordable for future students. Regalia donations can be dropped off at the POE suite in Wallace Hall on weekdays. If you have trouble accessing, you can please reach out to Joy through the advising email address. And you will probably see bins around campus. That is because we've been working with UW Sustainability and UW Recycling, along with some alumni of our program, to try to expand the program across the university. Now, I will say though, please try to, if you're a POE student, try to bring it back to us so that we can pay it forward to future POE students in particular. So thanks to everyone who donated, borrowed, and supported this effort. Together, you've demonstrated that sustainability can be woven into even our most meaningful traditions. And speaking of traditions, Monica has charged me with one last task. This is outside my pay grade, so I'm going to try to keep it together. What I'd like all of our graduates to do is stand up. And first things first, because as a parent, this means a lot. Turn around and give a big round of applause to your family. All right. Okay, now turn back this way. And please give a big round of applause to the staff of POE who helped organize this event. Thank you. I think Mia and Derek and Courtney are out in the lobby. Joy, of course, right here. Now, the best part, right? Part of the tradition is the moving of the tassel. Please go ahead and grab your tassel on the left-hand side and move it to the right. Whoa, just like that. Congratulations, everybody. And congratulations, the class of 2026 in the program on the environment. Please, everyone, let's all go out to the lobby now for some refreshments and photos. We have the space until, I believe, 1 o'clock. Thank you, everybody. Good job, Monica. We don't want to get penalized.